Who doesn't love some souvenirs? I most certainly do. Today we'll build a gift shop with a detailed interior in the Desert Adventure Park, and I really hope you guys will enjoy today's episode. Hello guys, this is Cesar Creates, and welcome back to my channel. It is finally time for another episode of the Desert Adventure Park. I know that it has been a while, but we are finally back. As promised in the last episode, today we will build a gift shop. An African-themed gift shop for our African section or the African village of our park. And this is actually the last speed build episode of the African village. This means that when this gift shop will be done, the African section will be more or less finished. I'll just do some finishing touches before the next episode, which will be the tour. And I just cannot wait to show you around the whole finished African village. I'm so proud of this build, and after the tour I will also upload it to the workshop so you guys can check this zoo out. This is just one of the villages that I planned for this zoo, so this zoo is far from being finished, but the African village is definitely the largest. It has the most amount of species that I have planned for this zoo, so the other villages should go a bit more like smoother, quicker, faster, especially the next one that I am planning. But more on that and more about the plans for this series in the next episode where we'll actually do the tour, and then I'll show you guys my plans for this series. So I am very excited to move on to something else in the zoo, because all the different villages will have completely different style. This African themed style that we were going for in here is so nice. I love it so much. I love my thatch roofs and the round buildings. This is, by the way, something that we are building today as well. But as you know, time went on, and as I was adding more and more of those, I was a bit like tired of this. I wanted to like challenge myself to build something else in a different style. So finally, I will have a chance to do it, and the next village that I have planned for the zoo is kind of exciting, so I cannot wait for that. Again, I will share more with you guys in the next episode. As I told you, I still need to do some finishing touches. I still need to like do some backstage stuff, like connect the backstage areas of different enclosures with paths, and also fill in some gaps when there's just stuff missing and there are empty spaces. So this will probably take me some time, and I also want to upload a new episode of the Elm Hill City Zoo before I will do the tour, so you guys will have to be a little more patient, but I am promised that it is coming really soon, and I hope you guys will enjoy it. I had so many questions about the tour here and in the Elm Hill City Zoo. The one in the Elm Hill City Zoo is also near. We only will have like 3 more building episodes, I think, and then the tour. So I hope you guys are excited for this. Okay, but let's talk about today's build. As you guys could see, I started the episode with building another round building in our African section, just as we did last time for the restaurant. Those buildings will be very similar. I actually used the same walls that I created for the last episode. I just changed the color a little bit. I used a very similar like thatch roof for this hut or for this building. The restaurant that we created last time is rather close to this building, so I wanted to make them look cohesive. I want them to look like they belong to the same like village, so this is why this building will be a bit similar, both inside and outside, but of course it came with its own challenges. The restaurant that I created for the last building, by the way, thank you guys so much for all the amazing comments under this video. You guys loved it, so I am so glad, because it actually took me so much time, so much planning, so much creating those little stuff like, I don't know, different chairs, different things for the kitchen and stuff, that I was a bit exhausted after this. And having in mind that right now I need to build a gift shop, which will be sort of like a similar thing, was kind of dreadful. I was doing everything not to build this. I was uploading episodes from the Elm Hill City Zoo, from Jurassic World Evolution 2 and stuff, and I really didn't want to build this because I remember how much time it took me to build the restaurant. But actually building this shop wasn't that difficult, just because I wanted to make those buildings look like they, again, come from the same village, and I had a lot of things already done for the restaurant, so I just copied them over here. Of course, this one was a bit different because it's the shop, not the restaurant. This time I didn't have to create all those tables, chairs, and other stuff. This time I had to create a lot of shelves, a lot of different display things for all the souvenirs that we'll be selling in here, and this was another like challenge. I went through so many photos of the gift shops that I've been to from different zoos and also online, and I also had a look at a lot of different toy stores, so I could get some inspiration for this interior. I'm still not the best when it comes to building like guest buildings and interiors for guests. I prefer to build habitats, I prefer to build buildings for animals. The guests are always a big challenge for me, so this wasn't an exception. This was also a challenge. I realized that I wanted to fit a lot of things in this building. It is much smaller than the restaurant, so and I still didn't want to make it look like messy, like packed, although a lot of those shops, they look like this. There is just so many different things that the zoos are selling, like plushies, like, I don't know, t-shirts, like books, like everything, and it is so like squeezed into those small shops. So I wanted to have this, but I also wanted to make it look spacious, and this was a bit of a challenge. But in the end, I am quite satisfied with this building. I still prefer the restaurant for some reason, but this one also is quite nice for my skills when it comes to the interiors. I really pushed myself again. So today we'll be adding tons and tons of the pieces that were added to Planet Zoo with the souvenir shop update. It was released alongside the Eurasia Animal Pack, so it was back in the December, and I think that it is one of the coolest free updates that we ever got. I know that the gift shops had some issues. There were some crashes for some people. There were also weird things happening to the save files and stuff, but I think that by now it is all solved, so you can add the gift shops to your parks and zoos without fear of, you know, you losing your save file. But still, I think that it is such an amazing update. Every zoo that I've been to has some sort of a gift shop or a little gift stand or something with the plushies, with books and anything. So I am so glad that it was added, and actually what proves that it was needed is so many things on the workshop of people like trying to recreate things that we could sell in the gift shops from small pieces. We had plushies, we had t-shirts, we had a lot of different things on the workshop, and right now the workshop items, even though they are amazing and those people did such an amazing job, they are not needed anymore because we have this all in the game. I especially love, for example, the t-shirts. The Macs are amazing, the plushies, although maybe I would prefer to have even more of those. I mean, the plushies, the t-shirts and so on, for more variation, because I also had this issue that after some time of decorating and adding things to this souvenir shop, I thought that I am adding the same pieces over and over again, just in different places. So it will be so cool to have even more of those, but I'm still so happy that this update was actually added. We won't be actually adding the souvenir shop that is functional in the game. I don't have guests in here, so we will just add like this counter from the gift shop, and we'll add some of the shelves, and all other like those souvenirs will be added just one by one, piece by piece. So this gift shop won't be fully functional, but as you guys probably probably know by now, I am building in this game more for the looks than for the functionality, so I hope you don't mind this. So as you guys have seen, I already created the whole building. I mean the exterior, we have the walls, we have the roof, we have the entrances and the windows that I copied from the restaurant that we created last time, and then I added the floor inside, and I added some walls, and also began to work on the shop counter, the place where the guests will actually purchase all the gifts that they will take with them home. And again, this counter might be somehow similar to the one that I did for the restaurant, and this is what I wanted. I wanted to make it look similar, also rounded, but from different materials, but you know, a bit with the twist. So again, those buildings are a bit cohesive, but still they have their own unique features. So we are using a lot of wooden elements for this, and I also came up with the idea to make those like rounded parts on the sides a bit like lower and add their additional shelf for those puzzles or for any other things that probably can be, for example, on the promotion, because it is next to the counter, so you just go there and you see, okay, this one is discounted, for example, and I can grab it as well and buy it. Why not? It's been a while since I have recorded anything, so sorry if I sound a bit rusty. It's so interesting to me that when I'm in this flow of recording a lot of videos, the voiceovers are so much easier to record, because even though I have more of them and you know I should run out of the topics, it is still so much easier because I have this flow, and after a while of not recording, I suddenly don't know what to talk about, and I am doing a lot of different mistakes. I am just, you know, shattering and just as like right now. So that's interesting. I hope that I will have more time right now to record more videos, so those are definitely coming. I know that Planet Zoo videos have been a bit like down right now. Not so many people are uploading. I think that this is totally normal. The game has been out for a long while, so it's normal that the interest is dropping. But also we have a summertime. You guys are probably enjoying your time outside. You are not watching so much right now, and of course, do that. It's amazing. You should enjoy the weather, and you should be spending your time outside, not in front of your screen all the time. So this is totally understandable. I always see some frustration among different YouTubers during this time of the year, because the views are normally down, and it is a super normal thing for, you know, episodes to get more views during winter, during colder months than in summer, and there's nothing we can do about this, and I fully support you going out and having fun and traveling and so on. So yeah, the views on my channel, as you guys know, are not a priority. I just love to build in Planet Zoo, and I just love to interact with you. And if this appeals to someone, and if the videos gets a lot of views, this is just something added and something super enjoyable, of course, that I love, but this is not all that, you know, this channel is about. I hope you know that by now. But when it comes to the views, what I want to talk with you guys is that the Desert Adventure Park is actually kind of like my side project from the Elm Hill City Zoo. That is actually my main project here on the channel, like my flagship project. But actually, some of the episodes from this series are my most watched on YouTube. So this is super interesting to me. I of course have some of my favorite habitats in this zoo that I love. Those are some of my favorites ever. For example, the giraffe and the zebra habitats. I love this one so much. But for example, the elephant video and the elephant habitat is not one of my favorites. I think that it's not my best work, and it is actually my most watched video ever. It recently just passed 250,000 views, which is insane. And yeah, this is a video from this series, not the Elm Hill City Zoo that I am probably mostly known for, so this is super interesting. Of course, I hope that this video will also have so many views, but I just know that it won't happen. So, but Planet Zoo having a lot of the downtown doesn't change anything for me. I will still be uploading, I will still be finishing those 2 zoos for sure, and yeah, actually we'll soon do a very big milestone for the Elm Hill City Zoo by finishing the reptile house finally and moving on to another project. I know that you guys are waiting for the bears, I know that you are waiting for primates, for me finishing the African section again of the Elm Hill City Zoo and all the different stuff. So this is definitely all on my list, even though if Planet Zoo will end, the support and stuff will still continue, so don't you worry, because I saw some comments. And yeah, while we are on the topic of the ending of Planet Zoo that is inevitable, wow, that was a hard word to pronounce for me, but we are fully aware that it will be ending sooner or later. Probably there's one more DLC, like the one more DLC is confirmed, but it is probably the last one. Like everyone is expecting it to be the last one. I am very curious to see what it will be, but yeah, there's also a lot of rumors that the end of Planet Zoo means the new Planet Coaster game, Planet Coaster 2. And I already got some questions from you guys if I'll be playing Planet Coaster 2 on the channel, if it will be out. The answer is probably yes, although I already told you many times that I'm not the biggest fan of the amusement parks, of the theme parks, of roller coasters and stuff like that. I have zero knowledge about those. I don't know how they are constructed, how they should work. So building like a roller coaster park will be super challenging for me, because I have been to only like several ones. I am not a huge fan of standing in the queues for hours just to ride on the roller coaster for 1 minute or something. So this is totally not for me, but I of course will still be playing Planet Coaster 2 on the channel if it will be actually out, because I have a feeling, maybe I'm totally like delusional here, that if the Planet Coaster 2 will be announced, this probably means that one day we'll also get Planet Zoo 2, which I'm super hopeful for. And of course, I will just have to check this game out, because maybe a lot of things that will be added to Planet Coaster 2 will also be present in Planet Zoo 2, right? For example, new building mechanics, or just simply new management tools and stuff like that. So I'm super curious for this aspect, for building, on how what things that they will improve and do and stuff like this. So I will definitely check this out. Again, I am a huge fan of the animals, I am a huge fan of zoos. This is what I feel like doing and I feel good at. I don't feel good at all when it comes to roller coasters and stuff like this. And even if Planet Coaster 2 will be out, the Planet Zoo will be probably the main thing that we'll play here on my channel, and this is what I'll be focusing on. Maybe from time to time I'll just, create a series on Planet Coaster 2 and we'll try to build something like this. It will actually become quite like interesting that a guy who has no idea about the roller coasters and amusement parks will try to build one. So yeah, that could be interesting. Probably some, die-hard fans will come for me, will criticize me and stuff like that, but I'm so ready for this. Bring it on. Of course, we are only speculating. Nothing has been confirmed just yet. There has been some leak that I saw on Twitter about some database, but we don't know if it's true or not, so I am not trying to, bring the hype up or anything, because I don't know anything about the game, but just because I had some questions, I wanted to clarify that. Okay, and while I was building, a lot of things actually happened. We finished our counter in the shop, where I added some mugs, some plushies. We also did the entire background of the counter. That consists of like irregular randomly placed different planks from the Twilight pack that I wanted to tilt in different directions just to make it look a bit more 3D, so the entire wall looks just a bit more interesting. This is something that I saw in some of the gift shops online, but I don't remember which one. And after that, it was actually time to create some shelves for the books. The books are something that I'm so missing in the game when it comes to the pieces available. It is such a pity that they didn't add them with the souvenir shop, because I feel like it is such a staple for zoo gift shops. You often have those albums, you have those books. Every time I go to the zoo, I always visit a gift shop and I buy a book or an album from the zoo. They often have just photos of the animals from the zoo. They have things like books about the history of the zoo or about building some habitats in the zoo. So this is something that interests me a lot. I have a collection of those different books from different zoos. So every gift shop has them. Those are some kids books about the animals and stuff like this. So I am so curious why they didn't add them. But I was able to find the amazing blueprint by Ricey, because I hate creating those small things in Planet Zoo. I never know how to make them. So if there's an amazing blueprint like this, I'll of course use it. If I am using a blueprint in the video, you know that you'll find the link down in the description. So if you like to use those books, the link is down. And when it comes to the blueprints, I know that you guys will be asking for this to be out in the workshop, and I think that I will do something like I did for the restaurant. So I will just create a set of different pieces from this gift shop, and I will upload them to the workshop. But just give me some time, because I need to prepare all of that. So after I was done with adding different books, I went on to create like a clothing section of the gift shops with all the t-shirts, the hats, and so on. So we'll be adding all the available t-shirts that are right now in the souvenir shop set. I actually forgot to press record when I was building the racks for the clothes, so sorry for that. There will be a bit of a skip in there, but I'm sure that you guys will be able to figure out how I created it. I love the designs of the t-shirts that are available right now in the game, especially that you can actually buy them in the Planet Zoo merch store, so you can have them in real life. This is such an amazing idea. I actually have, I think I have a t-shirt, but none of those that are in the game, but I have a mug that is in the game with the giraffe. So it is so cool because I have it right now in front of me, and it is also in the game. So that's some clever marketing in there on Planet Zoo side. So it is so cool to have those things in real life. So if you didn't know that Planet Zoo has a merch store, definitely go and check it out. It is such a nice way of supporting Frontier and Planet Zoo, just buying those stuff from them. I also think that it is amazing that they actually added some rainbow themed souvenirs, especially that right now we have June, and June is a Pride month. So I was so glad to add some of those rainbow themed things in here. And of course, I would like to take this opportunity to wish happy Pride to everyone who is celebrating. Have an amazing time, and maybe celebrate by adding some of the rainbow themed items to your zoos in Planet Zoo. It is so cool that we can do it right now. After being done with the clothing section, I created those fake trees that are actually meant to be like a little display for the plushies. So there will be some ropes and nettings on those trees, also some fake plants, and in the crevices and on those nettings there will be a lot of different plushies attached. And by those trees we'll have a lot of baskets and different barrels and boxes filled with different plushies that are available. So in here the guests will be able to grab one for themselves. I really wanted to make it look like it is like just overflowing with plushies, that every of those baskets is just filled with them, and in the end I just love how it looks. This was a bit inspired by the Berlin Zoo and their like fake trees in the gift shop, but they don't have those plushies attached to them. This was just my idea, and I think that it looks actually quite nice. After that, I also created some custom tables for more clothing, and after this I will just add like an in-game souvenir shop shelf for the tote bags, and I will just decorate it with different wooden pieces to make it more suitable for our gift shop and for the decor that we are going in here. Again, just as in with the restaurant, I wanted to make it look African themed, but I didn't want to go too overboard with this. I still wanted to make it look modern and nice with just slight African theming, and I really like how it looks in the end. Also, one of my favorite things about this, and this is something that I'm so mad that I didn't think of before, is using the zebra pattern that is actually from the base game on the walls, and you can actually recolor it. I was able to just match the color of the white stripes with the color of the wall, and then change the color of the black stripes to something a bit more darker, and it still looks like a zebra themed African building, but it is just so like slight and not so in your face. That's I just love this wall pattern in here. I think it looks so nice. All the souvenirs and all the plushies and everything were meant to be like a focal point of this whole building, so I didn't have to want to have like a background that is taking away from them. I am so glad that I was able to come up with such a like a toned down version of the wallpaper that still looks interesting and nice. So one of my favorite things actually about this gift shop, and the thing that is distinguishing it from the restaurant. So yeah, really glad that I came up with this idea. To finish off our like clothing section of the gift shop, I also created like a standing racks for the clothes and for the tote bags, like a hangers or anything, and they'll be next to the window, so it creates like a display for the guests that will be just passing next to the gift shop. So for example, if they like the t-shirt, maybe they'll be just convinced to go inside and buy something and take something more. I feel like such things like gift shops, restaurants and so on are so important for zoos because it is an additional income, just like in Planet Zoo you earn on those things. Real life zoos also earn on this. Probably the main source of income is the sales of the tickets, but this is something additional that they also benefit from. So definitely, if you like to recreate like a real life zoo, you need a gift shop because most of them have something like this. At least most of the ones that I've been to, I always see like a gift shop or anything. Very often it is like that you just, exit the zoo through the gift shop. So you just have to go through it because there's no other way of exiting the zoo. And this is very tempting not to buy anything. I am the type of person that's loves to buy things like this. Like every time I'm traveling somewhere, I need to buy a souvenir just to have those memories and stuff. I have a whole shelf filled with those things, and the same goes for zoos. I always buy something, especially books, but if there's no books, I'll buy something else. Yeah, I am definitely very tempted by the gift shop, so I'll definitely be a customer in there. I wanted to include all of the things that were added with the updates. I mean, all of the different souvenirs that are available right now. So of course, the masks, the hats, the posters, the puzzles, the mugs, everything had to be in here. And I had to find a way of incorporating them so it all makes sense. For example, I had a problem with the masks because I didn't know how to display them in the shop. So I decided to create like tables just to lay them on the tables, and I wanted to go for something more interesting, so I decided to go for round tables. I also wanted to place them them in the middle of the shop, and I think that the round tables are really good for the flow of the guests. They can just go around them without any problems. And then here I actually use the wheel from the new Barnyard Animal Pack as like a frame of the table, and I filled this with different planks, and it looks really nice. I will be using this table in different places for sure because I really like it. I also created like a custom shelf for the hats, those animal head hats that are normally available in the game, I think in Hats Fantastic store. They guys can buy them in here, but they also can buy them in the souvenir shops from now on. So I created like a custom shelf for them, and wherever I had to create a shelf, for example for those hats, I was always googling like for the hat shop, and the same goes for the Max. I also were googling for the Max shelves and stuff. So this is all inspired by different shops, and yeah, the one for the hats is very highly inspired by a shop somewhere in Spain, I think, that is only selling hats. So really easy design, but I think that it just makes sense for the hats. I also created those metal baskets for the posters. We have those tubes with the posters in the souvenir shop, so I also wanted to include them. I didn't want to place every single poster on the wall, especially that not all of them make sense for the African section of our park. For example, the one with the capybara, there's also one with the pandas in the snow, I think, so it doesn't really make sense. I decided to include the tiger in here because there is like a clear like a savanna shot in there with this dry grass, but of course we have the one with the rhino, so this was a must because we also have this type of the rhino in our African section of the zoo. As I told you, I also created like a custom shelf for the Max, some custom shelf for the statues that are also available in the souvenir shops, using the same table that I created for the masks. And I will also create a custom shelf for the puzzles that are also available. There are 3 different designs of the puzzles. Those puzzles can also be bought from the real Planet Zoo merch store, so it is so amazing. The Max as well, as I told you already. The gift shops in zoos, they often have some enormous plushies that sometimes can be bought, but sometimes are just for decoration. I saw so many of those huge plushy giraffes that have just several meters and are just enormous, and I also wanted to add something like this, but unfortunately we don't have a plushies of this size, so I decided to use the animal statues in the concrete color. In there we have the giraffe, we have for example a flamingo that is also in this section of the zoo, and we also have chimpanzees, so this is the statues that I added in here. I also created some shelves and some different details of camera. For example, created like a whole queue thing that you have all those rope thingies. I don't know how they are called, just to guide the guests with the queue, how it should form. And also I will create like a custom shelf or cupboards next to the counter with some like last minute things that you can grab when you'll be just next to the cashier. This is something very typical. It's like typical for different stores, like a trick that different stores do when you are just, standing in a queue, you are just watching those things, and suddenly you'll think to yourself, oh, I actually need this, when you don't. So I also wanted to create something like this. I felt like this shop also needs an interesting display that the guests will see from the outside. I was looking for different ones online, and I found actually a really interesting shop display from some cosmetic shop that had a lot of different logs in different height, and on almost all of those wooden logs there was one product just standing. It looked really interesting, and it was totally doable in Planet Zoo. If you know pieces in Planet Zoo, you know that we have tons of different wooden logs, so I just had to find the ones in the right size, and I went for the logs from the tropical pack, and on those I added a lot of different plushies, also mugs and some other things, and I also added those light bulbs above them. I created a wall with the sign zoo shop, and I think that this display is really interesting and should probably draw our clients or customers or guests inside of this gift shop. I hope so, at least. This zoo is very high budget, so we need a lot of money. I'll also add like a trail on the floor or like a path around the whole gift shop, just to simply direct the guests a bit inside of the building. This is for some reason very typical for gift shops in zoos, but also toy stores. I mean, it looks interesting, it guides you, so it completely makes sense. And also it allowed me to add some more color to this building, so why not? And after that, I added some necessary like finishing touches. For example, a door that will lead to the backstage of this building, like I don't know, storage for all those things that if, for example, they will run out of t-shirts, they can just go inside and take them out. But I didn't feel like doing like a whole thing in there. I didn't do any of the backstage stuff. I didn't do any of the storage. So this is all empty. I know that I normally do it, but I don't do it for buildings like this. I just didn't feel like it, so it is empty. As I hope you will be able to forgive me. But what I also did was adding, for example, like the vents for ventilation in there. I used the blueprint by Haribo. Again, the link will be down in the description. I added a lot of lamps that I created for the restaurant, and also the netting from the Oceania pack on the ceiling to make it look a bit more interesting. The last thing that I will add is probably one of my favorite details in this whole shop, because I think that it just helped to sort of add this additional layer of realism, and this is something that I just thought of after finishing the entire build, after thinking to myself that it is actually missing something. And when I just had this idea, I just knew that I had to try to recreate this. This was, I am not sure how it is called, maybe I'll quickly Google it. Oh, those are simply called the anti-theft gates. It makes sense. So those are those gates that you often see in the entrances to the shop that will just, beep or ring the alarm if someone is stealing something. So I think that this shop, having so many different small items that you can simply hide in your pocket and walk out, needed something like this. And I was able actually to create it using not too many pieces, and it looks kind of believable, kind of realistic. So I am very happy with this detail. And of course, it will be for sure added with the set of the blueprints to the workshop. So you can use it in your own gift shops, because I just am very, very proud of this piece, and I am so happy that I thought of it, because again, it adds this additional layer of realism. Unfortunately, people are stealing. I worked on in the shop when I was on my studies briefly. And even though we had those gates in this shop, it was a clothing store, people found a way of stealing anyways. So, but of course, there were some people who were stopped by those. We had to call the security and stuff, but because simply they were beeping. So sometimes it happens, and sometimes those people who are actually stealing, you wouldn't tell that they are thieves. They are really good dressed, they look amazing, they just some ladies who just walked out of their hair salon, and suddenly they have their purse filled with stolen clothes. So I don't think that in Planet Zoo the guests can actually steal from shops, but they can actually destroy stuff like benches and TV screens and stuff, so probably they also can steal, I don't know. No, wait, they are actually pickpocketers, right? They can steal from other guests. That's why you need the security guards. Okay, now I remember, because I don't really play franchise or anything, so I totally forgot. So actually they can steal in this game as well, not from the shops, but for other guests. So this just proves that we need those gates in here. It's good that the speed build part of the video is nearly done, because I am starting to talk about weird things like stealing. Sorry for that, but really coming up with the topics for today's video was kind of challenging for me. Hopefully I will be back to my regular flow in the next video. Okay, and this is all when it comes to the speed build part of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and now it is time for some cinematic shots with my commentary. Oh, this one was certainly quite a lot of work, but I am super happy that we finally finished the whole African section of the Desert Adventure Park and that we can move on to something else. Of course, as I promised, in the next episode there will be a tour of the whole finished section. This is another of those round buildings in our African village. I wanted to make all those buildings in here cohesive, that's why I once again went for a design like this. Of course, the interior is slightly different than other buildings that we've built for this area. I also forgot to mention that I also did some decorating on the main central plaza of the entire building, so it's not so empty. I added a toilet, I added a food truck with some tables and also some planters for some additional palm trees and to give some shade for our guests because we are still building on a desert. The interior of this building of course took me the most time. It was a bit difficult to come up with different designs for different shelves, different displays for all those souvenirs that we have in here. I especially like the design of the little clothing section that we have in there because I think that it looks quite realistic. I also really like the books that by Ricey, those are the blueprints, and the shelves also look so nice. Besides that, we of course have all other souvenirs in here, such as the puzzles, plushies, the mugs, and the posters that were added with one of the recent updates for Planet Zoo. The whole interior is slightly African themed, but I still wanted to make it look a bit more modern, and I hope you guys like the whole idea for it and like how I just decorated the whole thing. If you have some suggestions or anything that I should change in here, definitely let me know down in the comments. Okay guys, I think that is all when it comes to this video. If you enjoyed it and you are not subscribed yet to my channel, please consider to do so. Also, if you like to be notified every time I upload a video like this, make sure to ring the bell down below, give this video a big thumbs up, and leave me a comment to tell me what you think about the gift shop and if you are excited for the tour that is coming. I cannot wait to record it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a wonderful day and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!